Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Temple Buddhist Center's weekly Sunday meditation service. My name is Victor, and I'm honored to be of service this morning. We hope that today's service finds you all happy and healthy, but please know that if you are struggling in any way, we hope that our service and our Sangha can be a source of refuge for you, a source of inspiration and strength as we open our hearts to you and to your loved ones. We're excited to be able to celebrate services in person once again, yay! And we want to do so as safely as possible. And so masks are recommended, respect and tolerance are encouraged. We do appreciate your part in helping to keep our whole Sangha safe and healthy. So let's begin this morning with some conscious breaths. I do want to take a moment and apologize to our online community. Our normal live streaming technician is out of town, and so we've kind of gone back to the old school, which is just a single camera without all of the fancy stuff. But I think it should work good enough to be able to hear Robert's talk today. So let's go ahead and begin our service with some conscious breathing. A conscious breath is where you seal the mouth, breathe deeply through the nose, hold that breath for a moment, and then release slowly so that the exhale is longer than the inhale. Let's begin. Holding that breath for just a moment, feeling the fullness of the lungs, and then releasing slowly. And as you release, taking a moment to check in with the body. What is most present in the form right now? It could be a restlessness, it could be a joy, it could be an anxiety, or it could be a sense of ease. Whatever is present in the form right now, we embrace the truth of that instead of our thoughts about the way we wish things were. And a second conscious breath together. Holding for a moment. And releasing slowly. And as you release, giving yourself permission. Permission to unplug from that energy of going and doing and striving and efforting. As we cultivate together the energy of simply being. That energy that is a boundless, endless source of vitality, essence, and it requires absolutely nothing of us. And a third conscious breath together. Holding that breath for a moment. Releasing. And as you release, I invite you to bring into your awareness now the present moment. There's just this. It might seem like a small increment of time, but the present moment has no beginning and no ending, and we are always arriving. And so here at Temple Buddhist Center, we like to begin our services with a little bit of chanting, and we would never think of chanting without our kids. And so here comes Lindsay and the kids to join us in our chant. I'm so glad you guys got here. Our chant today is actually one the kids ask for often. They say, do the mommy chant. Well, the mommy chant is Om Ami Dewa Ze. So when you put Om and Ami together, you get Om Ami Dewa Ze. So that's why they call it the mommy chant. So Om Ami Dewa Ze. And this is a chant in the Buddhist tradition that celebrates and enhances compassion. And as the Buddha said, if your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. So, with that, let's take a conscious breath together. And I'm going to invite Michelle to tone us in. Together. Om Mami Te Wase. 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 With a smile. Om Mami Te Wase. Om Mami Te Wase. Once more. Om Mami Te Wase. Thanks, kids, for joining us this morning. Lindsay, what are you guys doing today?
Today we are going to talk about planting seeds of gratitude.
I love that. Lindsay said that today she and the kids are going to be talking about planting seeds of gratitude. Wonderful. Just in time for spring so that our gratitude can grow up with all the tulips and everything, right? All right, thank you, kids. I love your Easter hat and your dress. It's nice to see you guys. Have lots of fun, and we'll see you in just about an hour. And again, welcome to each and every one of you this morning. So glad that you joined us here at Temple Buddhist. They're so cute. Here at Temple Buddhist Center, we practice Western Buddhism. Western Buddhism is a blend of Eastern philosophy and Western psychology. And this new and exciting form of spirituality is new, it's active, it is inclusive, it's dynamic, it's growing and changing with us, and it focuses on core Buddhist insights, as well as mindfulness, meditation, and their practical applications in our daily lives. Our goal here is not to get everyone to agree on a specific lineage or philosophy or sect of Buddhism, but rather it's on a shared experience of mindfulness, oneness, and love. Whether we are chanting together, sharing from the heart, or spending time in noble silence, we respect that you will participate at a level that is comfortable for you. We take refuge in the three jewels and acknowledge these core values as expressions of the awakened mind, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We value awareness of our Buddha nature as well as the Buddha nature of all beings, bringing a fresh new perspective to each and every encounter. The second jewel, the Dharma, the truth teachings that release us from fear, delusion, and help us to realize the true nature of who we are. And finally, our Sangha, our spiritual community, an essential part of growth where we practice the teachings together and help each other along every step of the path. And so let's take a moment now to silence any cell phones or electronic devices as we begin to prepare for a meditative and contemplative environment. We're going to begin with the prayer of refuge. We'll recite this 3 times together. And it's on the screen here for you. So let's begin. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, We go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. And so as we prepare now for a time in meditation, if you have an extensive practice, then we invite you to practice in a way that's fitting for you this morning. If you are new to meditation, then we will begin with an opening dedication. We will sound the bell 3 times for the 3 jewels. And then we will have a brief guided meditation by our teacher today, Mr. Robert Brumet. We will spend approximately 10 to 12 minutes this morning in noble silence, connecting with each other in consciousness. Afterwards, Robert will lovingly and gently bring us out of meditation, and then we will sound the return bell, and then it will be time for today's Dharma talk, or teaching. And so, let's take a conscious breath together. Body, speech, and mind, in perfect oneness, I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. May the hearers awaken from forgetfulness, transcend the path of anxiety and sorrow, and realize the true nature of who they are.
As together we hear the sound of the bell receding into the silence, so we allow the mind to relax, to open. We allow the heart to relax, to open. Breath by breath, we relax the body and the mind. And open to the experience of simply being. We can It's always happening. But most of the time we are preoccupied with the foreground thoughts, desires, sounds, distractions of the world, distractions of the mind. So we just let go of that gently and sink deeply into what is always here. Recognizing the essence of our being. Beyond words and beyond thought. It is that which holds our awareness. It is that which holds all that we are. Much more. Breath by breath, we let go. Not pushing away, not chasing, not grasping. Just allowing what's here to be here. And letting go. And allowing. As we rest deep into the silence. Deep into our true being. the experience of hearing, we open our awareness to the experience of the body, feeling the sensations in the body. And before we open our eyes, I invite you, if you wish, to join me in bringing our world into your heart. Opening our hearts to the world. Bringing compassion to the suffering of so many people in our world today. Bringing the intention of peace in our own hearts. Let that peace be as a seed that grows without limitation. So in a moment you will hear the sound of the bell, and as you do, I invite you to open your eyes slowly and gently, bringing into awareness the experience of seeing as we enter into our eyes open life. Bring the spirit of meditation, the practice of meditation, into each moment, whether our eyes are open or closed, regardless of whatever we're doing or not doing. We stay awake, we stay present. And now the bell. Good morning. And happy springtime. I think it's spring, or we're close to it anyway. So happy new life. And the title of our talk today is The Chicken and the Egg. I think Ricky is probably more qualified to give this talk than me. In case you don't know, Ricky raises chickens and eggs and chickens. And I'm not going to talk about which one came first. But I am going to talk about the relationship between the chicken and the egg, because this particular relationship is a microcosm, if you will, a miniature of a much larger and broader process that governs our lives, the development of our bodies, our psyche, and is very relevant to our spiritual practice. So let's jump into the conversation between the chicken and the egg. What is the relationship between the two? You know, is the chicken and the egg, or the egg and the chicken? The answer, of course, is yes, depending upon when. Right? So, the chicken and the egg depict a developmental process, which is very interesting when one holds the other, and then vice versa. The egg is a structure that's vital for the survival of the chicken. And yet at the same time, if the egg doesn't break open at the right time, the chicken doesn't survive. If it breaks open too soon, the chicken doesn't survive. If it doesn't break open at all, the chicken doesn't survive. So the timing is very crucial. And then the chicken develops without the egg. And then eventually, if it's a hen, it will develop another egg of its own. And the process goes forward. So throughout our development, we have structures that hold our sense of self. And these structures at times are very helpful, if not necessary. And yet at the same time, if these structures are allowed to exist and hold us too long, then our development is arrested. Some of the structures that we experience, of course, the first one is being in utero, which is almost like a chicken being in an egg. We are in our mother. And then even after we hatch, we are in our mother in psychological way. In the first year of our life or so, we are very much bonded, have to bond with the mother. And we found that infants that don't have that bonding are very much disabled, developmentally crippled. It's a very important process, you say. Yet at the same time, that bond between the mother and the child needs to be broken to a degree so the child can begin to develop a sense of self. And then typically the next egg, the next structure is the family system. So the child grows beyond the psychic field of the mother alone and becomes part of the family. Family is like the egg that holds the chicken. We are very much held in our families. And once again, when that structure is broken too soon or is malfunctional, or on the other hand, if it is allowed to exist too long, then our development is impaired in some way. Then we go to school, and once again, you start out in kindergarten. That's a particular shelf. Ideally, the child develops in that environment, and then they leave kindergarten and go to the next grade, and the next grade, and the next grade. So if we push the child too quickly, she or he is not ready to move on, then that can be detrimental to the child's development. But on the other hand, if the child is required to stay in a grade when she or he is developmentally ready to go on to the next, that also very much inhibits and harms the growth of that child. So the same for us psychologically and spiritually. We develop the structures, the eggs, if you will. So we have the grades in school, we have the school itself. You know, what do we call a school that we've graduated from? We call it our alma mater, right? Which means our mother. The school is like a development. Once again, ideally, you don't go to school your whole life. Of course, we're coming close to that, or at least paying for school your whole life. So there's a time for learning, and there's a time for applying what we learn. And again, timing is very crucial. And the more we mature, psychologically and spiritually, the more we can become conscious of these structures, and we can become conscious of developing our own structures and knowing when it's time to leave and when it's time to stay. Marriages, relationships, are structures. Careers, jobs, sanghas, churches, teachers, teachings, our belief system, our identity, the ego itself, or the ego, if you wish. The ego itself is a structure for a more essential part of ourselves. So the ego is a necessary development to hold our sense of self. But if we don't break out of the ego, like the chicken out of the eggshell, then we become developmentally undeveloped. And of course, that's the norm for much of humanity today, for where we are, is that the ego is considered to be the end of it. And it's really not the end of our development at all. It's simply one stage of our development. So as we look at all of these, it's very important to be aware of what am I choosing to hold? What am I choosing to create? What am I choosing to embrace and to associate with as my eggshell? Is that which holds my level of development or where I am? Is that even the body itself, the physical body, is a shell that will someday be broken to release whatever the essential quality is within that. And perhaps, as the Hindus teach, we have several bodies, maybe. I don't know, but we, throughout our development, in this lifetime and perhaps beyond, we will have structures that hold us, and those structures need to fall apart at the right time. When we try to hold on to the structure, when it's trying to fall apart, that's called suffering. It doesn't work. Nature, evolution says it's time for that structure to crumble and fall. By the way, structures include cultures and nations and civilization as well. So there's times to build and there's times to allow things to fall apart. And when we hold on, when it's time to let go, suffering occurs. And when we try to push away before we're ready, before that development has been completed, suffering will occur at that time as well. So there's two types of pathology here, if you will. One is holding on to a structure that needs to be released. And the other is trying to break out of a structure before we're ready. Neither one of those will work very well. If we break out too soon, then what happens is we are pulled back, we regress. It's kind of like if we leave one grade and go to the next before we're ready, we're going to need remedial work, if you will. We need to go back to quote, catch up. It's the same way with our development in so many ways, psychologically, spiritually, and maybe even physically. You know, we had our first daughter, first child, in fact, she never creeped as a child. She would crawl. She went right into crawling and didn't do the creeping that children do it. Because we just thought that she was precocious, just like her parents, of course. But what we found out later on was that she had a learning disability. And part of the rectification of that learning disability was for her to go back and creep as a child. So when she was 5, 6, 7 years old, we would play games with her. She would pretend like she was an animal or something, and she would do that creeping. And that was a necessary part of her development. So we need to develop each stage before we go on. And yet at the same time, if we hold on too long, that doesn't work as well. So in our meditation work, our meditation practice, we have teachers, we have teachings, we have sanghas, we have communities, we have practices. And each one of those is like an eggshell or a chicken, or another metaphor that's used sometimes in India is the banana. You know, the banana peel holds the banana until it's ripe, and then just at the right time, ideally, we peel the banana and eat it. But if we peel the banana too soon, it doesn't taste so good. And if we don't peel the banana soon enough, it doesn't smell so good. So looking at our practice, our techniques, our teachers, our teachings, there's no one answer that fits. In fact, there's no one answer that fits everyone. But what is crucial is that we consciously ask ourselves, what is what's my practice needing right now? Perhaps I need the structure of a sangha, or a retreat, or an individual teacher. Or maybe I need to experiment a little bit on my own. You know, maybe I need to do more concentration practice. Maybe I need to do more mindfulness practice. Maybe I need to balance the head and the heart. Maybe I need to do more metta practice, you say. So looking at each of these, and I often say that this practice, the Dharma practice, is more of an art than a science, because we're always looking at what's needed, and there's no formula. So I'll close, and I won't read the whole sutra, but there is a sutra that the Buddha taught, where he said even his own teachings someday would be obsolete. And he talked about how when in India, the rivers were very wide and they had no bridges at the time of the Buddha. So the way you crossed the river was to get on a raft. Usually there was a cable or a rope across the river, and the raft would hold you, and you just go hand over hand to get to the other side. And so he would say that once you get to the other side of the river, you don't put the raft on your back and continue to carry it. You leave the raft at the side of the river and you continue your journey. And so every teaching, every practice, every teacher is like a raft that gets us to the other side. We don't want to get off the raft too quickly. It doesn't work too well. But we don't want to have to carry the raft on our back either. That doesn't work so well at all. So, some seeds to plant, to ponder, some shells to break or not break, as the case may be. So once again, knowing that you have within you that deep wisdom that knows, as I think it was Kenny Rogers would say, when to hold them and when to fold them. Perhaps I'll close my teaching with it. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Robert. So it's not unusual to, as we transition from the Dharma talk into a heart practice, to maybe shift your posture or stretch or wiggle a little bit, make micro adjustments. And as we move into metta practice or a heart practice, with the understanding that this is an opening of our heart, it's not really a conceptual, intellectual activity, it is a heart opening. And it's also not unusual to accompany a metta practice with some sort of an outward or physical gesture to go with the heart practice. Many people will simply create the Anjali Mudra, which is a focusing of the heart. Some folks might place their hand on their heart as sort of a sense of bringing the awareness to the body, to the heart opening. Sometimes you can do both hands. It's also fine to simply have your hands on your lap or cupped together as you simply open your heart to the world. And so with that, I want to invite you to take a conscious breath together. And as you release that breath, I invite you to bring to mind a full body image of you, the form that has been given your name and that has accrued the many experiences over the years. And holding this image of you in your mind's eye, I invite you to recite silently to yourself these words of metta practice. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I be well in body and mind. And may I be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And as you release, I invite you now to bring to mind the image of a friend of yours. Holding this image in your mind's eye, let us open our hearts as we send to this friend metta. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in body and mind. And may you be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And as you release that sentiment into the universe, I invite you now to bring to mind the image of an acquaintance. It could be a clerk or a cashier from this week, a passerby or a classmate or someone in the Sangha that you have only just met. And holding this image in your mind's eye, let us open our hearts as we send metta. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in body and mind. And may you be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And as you release that sentiment into the universe, I invite you now to bring to mind the image of a difficult person in your life, a challenging person. Could be a boss or a coworker, a neighbor, a classmate, or a political figure. And holding this image in your mind's eye, let us open our hearts as we send to them metta. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in body and mind. And may you be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And as you release that sentiment into the universe, I invite you now to bring to mind the image of the world, all the plants and the flowers and the trees, animals of the land, the sea, the sky, and all sentient beings, including ourselves, as we send metta to us all. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be safe from inner and outer dangers. May we be well in body and mind. and may we be at ease and happy. Conscious breath. And in the true spirit of Dana, the Buddhist practice of generosity, temple services here are given freely. In the same way, if you choose to give, please give with a generous heart, which means not in return for anything that you have received today, but rather so that those who may be seeking refuge may find it here in this temple, with this Sangha, with these teachers, and with these teachings. We take a moment of gratitude for all of our ambassadors, those folks who have committed themselves to regular monthly electronic giving. It's not about the amount, it's just that the regular electronic monthly giving helps us to set a budget here in TBC. And I have to say thank you so much. We've had so many people sign up in the past couple of weeks. It's truly heartwarming to have so many people dedicating themselves to Temple Buddhist Center and the teachers and the teachings here. Also, if you would like to become an ambassador, simply stop by our website and click on the Love Offering button. And that'll take you to the Love Offering page. And the Dana boxes are located at the back of the meditation hall. For those of you that want to drop a little something in to further the practices of Temple Buddhist Center. And we hold in our hearts gratitude for all of our amazing volunteers. Thank you so much to Rob and to Dave and to Lindsay and to, goodness, the list is a mile long. So thank you all so much. I hold you in my heart for everything you do to help us. Thank you so much to Rochelle for your beautiful music. And thank you, Robert Brumet, for your teachings, your guidance, your mentorship, and everything you do for Temple Buddhist Center. We are so blessed to have you as a part of this community. And also especially thank you to each and every one of you for sharing your heart, your presence, and your practice with us here at Temple Buddhist Center. We are the better for it. And so, as we take a moment now to get ready for our bodhicitta dedication, we will say this together. And then I have just a few brief announcements, not a whole lot, but just a couple of important ones. So our bodhicitta dedication together. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion unstoppably, until all are illumined and awakened. And with our hands together in front of our hearts, as we go forth now from this place, may we enter each moment in innocence, guided by the wisdom of our hearts. And as we open our hands, open our eyes, shine our light into the world. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone. I wanted to just give you a shout out to all the volunteers who came Friday night for our full moon meditation. We built this beautiful flower mandala. There was chanting, there was yoga. We had an amazing turnout. So I just want to thank everybody so much for everything they did to help make this possible. Don't worry, we try to do these about every quarter. So if you weren't able to join us this time, there will be another one coming up here in about 2 months. So that was our evening, our full moon meditation. Also, just kind of giving you a heads up, the Temple Buddhist Center and Unity Temple Earth Day celebration is April 23rd from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. We're going to have a climate fair downstairs in Unity Hall. We've already got almost 24 organizations the Sierra Club, Sunrise, the Drawdown Movement. There are almost 25 organizations who are going to be sponsoring a table downstairs where you can come and learn what kind of organizations might be a good fit for you and your time and your talent and your treasures. And it's really fascinating to talk to all these people. They will also be doing presentations throughout the day. Temple Buddhist Center is giving away 50 trees on April 23rd. Those trees are a combination of white swamp oak as well as red buds. And so we right now we're saying 2 per family, but we do want to make sure we find a home for all the trees. So if you need 3 or 4, if you're doing a home forestation project, then just let us know and we'll accommodate you. And then finally, don't forget our WeSock retreat is coming. I know a lot of you are waiting on the registration information, but it's on its way, I promise. But go ahead and save the date from May 18th through the 21st. It is a 4-day silent residential retreat, but you can also join as a commuter. So you won't be staying at the retreat center with us. You'll be coming and going mornings and evenings, or you can also participate virtually. So all of these are available, and our theme this year for the WeSock retreat, for those of you that don't know, WeSock is the celebration of the Buddha's birth, enlightenment, and transition to nirvana. So that's what WeSock is, and our theme is with Earth as my witness. And so I hope you can join us for that. And then all the rest of these things are all happening throughout the week. All kinds of wonderful opportunities. Teresa's here. Teresa heads up the meditation group on Wednesday evenings. Currently, most of those groups are meeting virtually, but many of them are starting to come back for a hybrid version of some sort. And then also our recovery groups meet today at 12:30, Buddhism and 12-step recovery, or vitamin B12, as we say. And I wanted to point out to you, maybe I have a laser on here. I wanted to point out to you, I wanted to point out to you guys right here, a brand new class we just added this week. Some of you may be familiar with Jenny Han. Jenny Han is a prolific and very renowned artist here in the Kansas City area. She's also a practitioner. And she is offering a 4-week class beginning April 12th called Mindfulness for Creatives. So this is a way to blend our creative impulses with our mindfulness practice and how those two have a relationship together. So with all that being said, I'll put that screen back up in just a moment, but I just wanted to bid you all farewell, and as you go into your day, I wish you peace and blessings.
Oh, you need a lap director in there? I forgot to put it in there. But I can go get it. Tiffany, she's also one of our union cheerleaders. Yes. How's everything? Molly's, I think I left mine. Oh. That's excited. Yes, that's mine. Only mine has her straight. Yes, that's cool. Yes, that's thank you guys for coming. It's good to see you. Miss George, are you going down to the post-service group? All right, I understand. And then I'm going to go get the laptop for them. Well,